Please subscribe Car News. On the off chance that your permit can't take the focuses or your protection installment can't get any higher, the base Veloster still has all the great looks. It's a fine decision. The 2021 Hyundai Veloster hatchback is the correct companion, at the ideal time, at the correct cost. Its expressive shapes, particular mien, and punchy powertrain gaze us in the face to ask, why so genuine, brother? The Veloster is about fun, yet its 6.7 TCC rating is genuinely acceptable. Very little is new this year beside an 8-speed double grip programmed on Veloster N renditions. That is fine. Like a year ago, the 2021 Veloster is accessible in 2.0, 2.0 Premium, R-Spec, Turbo Ultimate, and Veloster N trim levels that run from $20,000 to $30,000 for more fun than we ought to legitimately bear. The rorty, shorty, three-entryway Veloster, 4, including the bring forth, looks like nothing else out and about, and it's generally something to be thankful for. The hatchback's 3 traveler entryways are part between different sides, figure it out and there's consistently a leftover portion. The 2 entryways on the traveler side compare the 1 driver side entryway, and that is only the start of the outside story. It's perfect and peculiar, regardless of whether we're most certainly not. Inside, the hatchback conceals spending materials with clean shapes and significantly increasingly fun incorporating a standard touchscreen with cell phone similarity. Underneath that metal, the Veloster is outfitted with a trio of 4-chamber motors, 2 of which are turbocharged. The base motor is a 2.0-liter inline-4 that is not shouting quick with 147 strength, yet has the looks. A 1.6-liter Turbo 4 makes 201 horsepower and lights up the fronts to the tune of 6 seconds 0 to 60 miles per hour runs. At the top is a 250 horsepower, or alternatively, 275 horsepower, Turbo 4 in the Veloster N that looks down on large uprooting, high pull, as much as possible show. Fun doesn't require productive thirst or a profane sticker price. All Velosters can be furnished with a 6-speed manual or 6, 7, or 8-speed program transmissions, contingent upon trim level. Our proposal is to keep it straightforward, 6 paces, change your own gears, have a ton of fun, and be back for supper. Each Veloster stands its ground on breathtaking streets with great guiding and a skilled ride, yet Veloster Turbo and Veloster N models are heavenly. Bring a companion, only one, in the Veloster. In spite of the fact that there's sufficient space for 4 on paper, the back seat is confined and not incredible for grown-ups. Behind the subsequent column there's about 20 cubic feet of load space, which develops to more than 45 with the seats collapsed. The FS considered the Veloster a top safety pick a year ago, albeit government analyzers haven't set their date for authentic accident test scores. Each Veloster gets in any event programmed crisis slowing down, dynamic path control, 17-inch wheels, material upholstery, power includes, a 7.0-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, 2 USB ports, and Bluetooth network. Up the cost and force stepping stool, Hyundai furnishes the Veloster with a bigger touchscreen, greater wheels, more force, and more security highlights. Like any most noticeably terrible closest companion we've had, it eggs us to go further, quicker. Low on cost however high on character, the 2021 Veloster takes motivation from the first and shines the main 4-entryway, topsy-turvy hatchback that we've at any point known. It's a 7 for looks since we like strange, as well. The Veloster's large front end is topped with an expansive grille with strakes and admissions that outwardly lower the little bring forth. The cleared back headlights venture into the front bumpers that flex the vehicle's front drive power. Around the sides, flared back curves come quick and short shades articulate the vehicle's happy strategic? Perhaps. Peculiarity? Most likely. Fun? Unquestionably. Inside, the Veloster is similarly as expressive, yet in spending moves. There's a lot of hard, however grained, plastics, yet simply enough pizzazz to keep us engaged without running heedlessly into kitsch. Maybe more than some other vehicle out and about, the 2021 Hyundai Veloster's exhibition ranges from gentle to wild. Base vehicles execute their missions as able and charming workers. Veloster Ns are more sultry than a Fox News contention. Our rating of 6 suggests more to the base vehicles, which are increasingly famous with purchasers. Whenever evaluated independently, the Veloster Turbo would score higher and the Veloster N would score close to the stratosphere. Base vehicles are controlled by a 2.0-liter inline-4 that makes 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque and forces the front wheels by means of a 6-speed manual or 6-speed programmed transmission. It's fine, not exciting, yet conveys the looks a few customers need with the value they can manage. We get that. The following stage up is a 1.6-liter Turbo 4 in the eponymously named Veloster Turbo. It makes 201 horsepower and 195 pounds-to-foot, moved through a 6-speed manual or 7-speed double grasp programmed. We exhort picking the manual prepared form since it's all the more captivating to drive, yet additionally on the grounds that the 7-speed Autobox isn't extraordinary at moderate rates. The R-Spec gets a short toss stick that is a success win. The Veloster Turbo carries up to 60 miles per hour from a stop in around 6 seconds, which is energetic for the somewhat little prizefighter. The Veloster N punches up further with a 250 horsepower Turbo 4, or, alternatively 275 horsepower, that is boisterously fun. A 6-speed manual is standard, and enthusiastically suggested, albeit a 8-speed double grasp programmed is recently discretionary this year. We haven't yet determined those programmed forms yet, we'll report back once we do. The Veloster N subs in some exhibition rigging, for example, a stiffer suspension, greater brakes, retune controlling, and an electronic restricted slip differential on the front hub that skates wayward wheels through corners with exactness and, likely, black magic. A discretionary exhibition bundle includes considerably greater plugs, grippier elastic, and opens that additional 25 horsepower punch. Most Velosters, counting Veloster N, pipe in engineered sound that can be killed. We favor the soundtrack of tires crying inside an inch of their cutoff points to be perfectly clear, not Memorex. That is because of directing that is exact and gets dynamically heavier in various modes, yet feels somewhat engineered contrasted with other little incubates, for example, the Honda Civic. It will be difficult to befuddle the 2021 Veloster as something besides a little vehicle, however the little hatchback is appropriate to convey two and apparatus. Beginning from a normal score, the Veloster's solace is a wash. What it gets for a roomy payload hold under the bring forth it loses in a rearward sitting arrangement that is less agreeable than hot yoga and requires the same amount of adaptability. It's a 5. The front seats are for the most part agreeable and customizable, albeit expansive shoulders may not fit well into the Veloster's launch. A pool at the workplace despite everything hasn't arrived on what number of entryways the Veloster really has, so stroll with us for a second here. The Veloster's hilter-kilter entryways mean there are 2 entryways on the traveler side for front and back seat riders, a more extended driver's side entryway for driver and periodic traveler and back, and a back bring forth. It could be a 3-entryway hatchback or a 4-entryway hatchback, however it's not so much a 4 grown-up vehicle. Hyundai says the Veloster has 34.1 creeps of backseat room to breathe, yet in reality, it's most likely not as much as that. 2 grown-ups won't ride back there serenely for long, in spite of the fact that kids may. Behind the subsequent line, the Veloster offers 19.9 cubic feet of load space that extends to 45.5 3D shapes with the seats collapsed forward. That is more than similarly evaluated cars and is adaptable for bunch tasks. The Veloster works admirably of reducing expenses in places you don't ordinarily observe, and abundant sound-stifling material covers untoward motor commotions. We're despite everything looking out for legitimate government crash test information, yet an approval from the FS is uplifting news for the 2021 Veloster. A top safety pick gesture from the FS and great standard dynamic security highlights help the Veloster move to a 7 until the feds finish their tests. This score may rise once those outcomes move in. Diving further into the FS information, the Veloster earned top-grade scores on the entirety of its accident tests and earned a prevalent rating for its standard front accident counteraction at 12 miles per hour and 25 miles per hour with another vehicle. The framework remembered for top-spec Veloster N and Veloster Turbo Ultimate models incorporates passerby impact avoidance that was evaluated as cutting-edge at forestalling crashes with individuals. The Veloster's headlights were evaluated as adequate or poor, contingent upon trim level. Notwithstanding standard programmed crisis slowing down, all Velosters are furnished with dynamic path control. Vulnerable side screens are standard on everything except the base vehicles, and versatile journey control is standard on just top trims. The 2021 Veloster folds a lively shape over a pragmatic, well-prepared hatchback, and hews those lines in with an energetic variation that is an impact to drive. It begins around $20,000 and moves up to around $30,000, which is a wide range requiring little to no effort vehicle. Beginning from a normal score, The 2021 Veloster procures focuses for good base gear, including a decent touchscreen, an incredible guarantee, and better choices. Also, by choices, we mean the alternative to speed up. It's a 9. Like a year ago, the Veloster is accessible in 2.0, 2.0 Premium, R-Spec, Turbo, Turbo Ultimate, and Veloster N trim levels. Our prescribed pick is nearer to the base end for the Veloster, yet not on the grounds that we don't care for the quick ones, we positively do. We simply recognize that consistently isn't race day, and modest vehicles ought to be modest. On the off chance that you can bear the cost of a brave Veloster with a leaf blower-sized turbo, we wholeheartedly embrace that message. The base Veloster is outfitted with a manual transmission, 17-inch wheels, programmed crisis slowing down, dynamic path control, fabric upholstery, power highlight,